Greetings. This video will explore the inner workings of Frostblink of Wintry Blast COC Occultist. Frostblink of Wintry Blast is a favorite of many new emerging cold COC builds. It offers superb mobility as it teleports the character just like the regular Frostblink does, but due to the lack of cooldown, you can hook it up to a well-established cast on Critical Strike and Cyclone Gem combo. The additional upside of this alternate Frostblink is more damage per chill effect on the enemy, which should be capped at 30%. The chill is removed on hit with this spell, so to apply it once again you will use the basic Frostblink as it's one of the very few instant cold spells which will not disrupt the channeling. Possibly the greatest benefit of using a mobility spell as the main damage source is Bronze Lithe body armor with its unmatched local increases to gem level. For Ascendancy, we've selected Occultist due to the obvious synergy with cold damage and critical strikes from Forbidden Power. Stacking maximum power charges normally yields tons of crit chance, but in this case, it also grants more area of effect and area damage. The unique items that have to be used are also heavily tied to charges of all kinds, especially Ralakesh's Impatience boots which treat you as if you're fully charged. You're dealing damage with your Frostblink cast on Cyclone that has 100% critical strike chance with a high crit multiplier. You will benefit from Inner Conviction and Pain Attunement. Void Beacon and Frigid Wake are excellent additions. Enemies will take magnified cold damage. The build is quite durable for how powerful it is. It has a high spell suppression chance, spell block chance, elemental damage recoup, and a sizable hybrid life pool. It cannot withstand big physical damage hits unless you're willing to tweak the build to make it tankier at the cost of damage. Clear speed resembles that of a Flicker Strike, but you can also use a regular Frostblink to close the gaps. It's very fast. Single target damage is also more than enough, tens of millions of DPS. The build uses many dirt cheap uniques with rares to cap resistances. The weapon might be the most expensive item on the list. You will harness the power of charges with Ralakesh's Impatience, Willclash, Malakai's Loop, and Graven's Secret. This combination of items causes your character to be treated as if they have all their basic charges. You will also benefit from the absorption charges, which result in a lot of life recoup and spell block chance. Other unique items to implement are Badge of the Brotherhood Amulet and Bronze Lithe body armor for more damage. Willclash. It's an enormous bonus to spell block chance with your 10 or more power charges. You will not lose these charges on block. The damage and defense stats are also generous. Malakai's Loop increases spell damage and grants 2 extra maximum power charges. The downsides will not apply. The extra 5 levels to the Frostblink spell socketed in Bronze Lithe will result in much more damage. Corrupt if for an extra 2 gem levels, AoE gems, if you can afford it. Double Corrupted if you like to gamble, it could potentially increase the level of Frostblink by up to 8. Ralakesh's Impatience boots cause you to be treated as on maximum power, frenzy, and endurance charges. Conjuring all of these in any other way would be too inefficient and difficult. You can still benefit from Inner Conviction Keystone or absorption charges. The build is not very tanky, so using the Graven's Secret belt is quite a good idea. It grants you 1 extra maximum power charge and tons of life recoup from the elemental damage you take. Use Badge of the Brotherhood to benefit from an additional 7 or more frenzy charges. These make you deal more damage and increase the cooldown recovery rate for Frostblink. You may struggle with capping your elemental resistances if you put Polaric Devastation on, but if that's not an issue, consider it for extra damage, crit chance, and to cover enemies in frost. They will take increased cold damage and their crit chance gets reduced by 50%. It goes without saying that a good precursor emblem with +1 to max power charges is immensely powerful in this build. The Inner Conviction Keystone which you can gain from the Dominus variant of Militant Faith grants you more damage per power charge. The downside will not apply. The Devotion mod shall increase your damage, grant you some elemental resistances, mana regeneration, or reduce the mana cost of your skills. Shaper of Storms, Winter, Mastermind of Discord, and Heart of Destruction are suitable keystones if you need more damage. Shaper of Winter is particularly good to upgrade your chill and freeze. For improved durability, look for Bastion of Elements or 9 lives. Elemental Penetration and extra critical strike chance can be found as Hatred or Zealotry mods on a Watcher's Eye. Grace offers more evasion and blind on hit. The abundance of unique items leaves you with very few rare items that will be mainly used to fix the missing resistances and attributes. Hit chance is of no concern. You can craft the prefix to never miss with Cyclone on your weapon. Try to lower the mana cost of skills, get spell suppression, chaos resistance, and block chance. You need some sort of melee weapon to use with Cyclone. We recommend a claw with its instant life and mana on hit, but most weapons will do. Craft a prefix to make your hits unavoidable, and seek modifiers for critical strike chance and global crit multiplier with spell damage. Acquire some maximum life, resistances, and spell suppression on the gloves. Other mods are of lesser importance. Cold Exposure and Unnerve can be gained as Eldritch implicit modifiers. Rare rings are where the bulk of your resistances and attributes reside. For prefixes, get maximum life and reduce the mana cost of your skills. You'll probably still need a bit more resistances and attributes, so try to gain them on your rare jewels. If that's already covered, go for suitable critical strike modifiers. You can use 1 or 2 of the cold-themed large cluster jewels. Seek notables for elemental resistances, elemental damage, cold penetration, and 1 blast freeze to proliferate freeze. Medium cluster jewel. Here you may find additional critical strike chance with crit damage, or AoE for better clear speed. We recommend 1 vast power for around 30% increased area of effect. Bottled Faith increases your critical strike chance and damage as long as you and your foes are affected by its consecrated ground. Your block chance is high, but not capped. Use Rumi's Concoction Flask for more spell and attack block chance. For magic flasks, you can pick up Diamond, Quartz, Jade, and Life Flasks. Their suffixes shall increase your crit chance, evasion rating, and reduce the mana cost of skills. Life Flask shall stop bleeding. Frostblink of Wintry Blast is more suited for a trigger build as it has no cooldown, but cast time instead. It cannot chill, but deals more damage to chilled enemies, removing this chill from them in the process. Cyclone is used to trigger Frostblink. It lets you move and has a very high attack rate. Link these two with Cast on Critical Strike, Empower, Inspiration, and Power Charge on critical support gems. A regular Frostblink is the mobility spell which is also used to chill and freeze. Link it with Bone Chill and Unbound Ailments for a more powerful chill effect, which translates into more damage. Zealotry grants more spell damage and increases your critical strike chance. Hits against tough enemies will create consecrated ground. Use Grace for more evasion, which is excellent with Ghost Dance. You can swap it for Determination if you prefer to take less physical damage from hits instead. Hatred simply grants more cold damage. If you feel like your damage is enough, use Tempest Shield or Arctic Armor instead of it. Maybe even both if you can fit them in. Link 3 of these skills with Enlighten to reserve less mana. A big portion of incoming hit damage is taken as dot instead with Petrified Blood on. It's great with life recoup and a high life regeneration rate. Affects the bottom half of your life pool. Link it with Arrogance and Enlightened support gems to be just below half of your life pool permanently. Immortal Call makes you take less physical and elemental damage for a brief moment. Frost Shield drains your energy shield to form a protective, stationary sphere, inside of which you take less damage, and have an increased critical strike chance. Link both of these with Cast when damage taken to save your character from dangerous situations. Enemy marked with Assassin's Mark takes increased damage from critical strikes and is more likely to be hit with such strikes. Link it with Mark on hit to apply it automatically against rare and unique enemies. Activate Vol RF for a brief but potent bonus to your spell damage. Use Shield Charge to move around faster if there are no enemies nearby. Frostbite lowers cold resistance. It can be found as a ring affix if you don't want to cast it manually. Kill all the bandits, it's probably the best option. Alternatively, help Alira. This would get you extra elemental resistances, global critical strike multiplier, and 5 mana a second. A good option for starters. For a major god pick Aracali, we don't expect to cap chaos resistance anyway, and too much damage over time may be dangerous, as we went heavily into hit damage mitigation with block chance, petrified blood, and recoup. Minor god is less important. Aberrath seems like the best pick, it reduces ignite duration on you. The passive skill tree follows the outermost ring on the top. It's the most efficient way to allocate all the maximum power charges and grab 2 large jewel sockets for cluster jewels. The rest of the points are spent on maximum life, critical strike nodes, cold damage, reservation efficiency, and spell suppression. For keystones, get Pain Attunement, Ghost Dance, and something to turn into Inner Conviction. Allocate 50 extra life and 15% increased life if there are no life mods on your body armor as life masteries, reservation efficiency as mana mastery, life reservation efficiency as reservation mastery, crit multiplier against unique enemies and extra gem level to critical strike gems as critical masteries, increased damage per charge as charge mastery, and maybe lucky spell suppression if you have any points left and low suppression chance. That's it, you should now be ready to build your own COC FROSTBLINK Occultist. Have fun with it. Like the video if you've enjoyed it, and subscribe to the channel, we publish various builds regularly.